What do we owe the future? I mean, that's a huge question, right? But it's one that every single one of us has a stake in. Today, we're going to dig into this idea of being stewards, caretakers for the people who come after us. Because the choices we make, literally right now, are going to shape their entire world.
Yeah, think about it like this. When people in the future look back at our time, what are they going to see? Are they going to say, wow, they left us a treasure chest overflowing with opportunity? Or are they going to be stuck dealing with a mountain of debt we left behind? And I'm not just talking about money. I mean environmental debt, social debt, the whole nine yards.
You see, this world we live in, we didn't build it from scratch, not even close. It's really an inheritance, this massive collection of, well, everything. Resources, knowledge, amazing art, but also problems. All of it passed down to us. And here's the kicker. Just as we received this inheritance, we, right now, deciding what kind of inheritance we're going to leave behind. Okay, so how are we supposed to manage this incredible, complicated inheritance? Well, there's this really powerful idea that acts as a guiding principle. It's called stewardship.
And intergenerational stewardship, it sounds kind of formal, but really it's a promise. It's this deep moral feeling that we shouldn't just waste or use up everything we've been given. The whole goal is to be good caretakers, to make sure the world we pass on is, at least as good as the one we got, and hopefully a little bit better. And let's be clear, this inheritance, it's not just about money in a bank or a piece of land. It is everything. We're talking about the quality of the air future generations will breathe, the water they'll drink, the technology that'll be totally woven into their lives, the culture, the art, the stories they'll love. And yeah, it's also about the problems we don't solve, because those become their problems to fix.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Pretty much everyone agrees we should leave a good legacy, right? But how to do that? Oh man, that is a huge debate. And that brings us to two totally different ways of thinking about preservation.
Really, the whole argument boils down to one core question. Think about it. Is our job to protect specific things, like this particular forest or that endangered species? Or is our job just to make sure the total value of what we pass on stays the same, even if we swap out some of the pieces?
So let's break down these two views. First, you've got weak preservation, or conservationism. The idea here is that you're focused on the total value. So for example, you can maybe cut down a forest as long as you use the money to build something of equal value, like a brand new university. The total capital for the future stays the same or even grows. But then you've got strong preservation, or preservationism, and this side says, whoa, hold on. Some things are just irreplaceable. You can't put a price tag on the Grand Canyon. You can't replace an entire ecosystem. Their value is unique, and you just can't substitute it. This really gets to the heart of that weak preservation idea. It's all about leaving the future with the capacity to create well-being. It's not about leaving them the exact same set of trees or minerals we have. It's about giving them the tools and the overall capital to build their own good lives, whether that capital is natural or man-made. And then, here's the powerful counterargument from the strong preservation camp. It's a completely different mindset. This view is all about a moral duty, a responsibility to protect things that have a value all their own, a value that you just can't measure in dollars and cents. Because, and this is the key, once they're gone, they are gone forever. No do-overs.
So this whole debate, it might sound kind of philosophical, right? But it is not just some academic exercise. Not at all. These ideas have huge real-world consequences. They are shaping our planet as we speak and will continue to for centuries. And believe me, the stakes are incredibly high. Just look at the kinds of legacies we're talking about. On the positive side, you have the creation of national parks. That's a classic example of strong preservation in action, saying this is a treasure and we're protecting it forever. But then you have the negative side, like the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is basically this giant floating symbol of neglect. And you see this pattern everywhere, developing renewable energy versus being stuck with long-term nuclear waste. Or think about the amazing global agreements that literally save the ozone layer versus the tragic permanent extinction of species like the passenger pigeon. And you know what the big takeaway is here? The good stuff doesn't just happen by accident. Positive legacies are the results of conscious choices, creating national parks, pushing for renewable energy, that incredible Montreal Protocol that healed the ozone layer. Every single one of those was the result of people deliberately making hard, forward-thinking decisions. But that's why the choices we're making right now are so incredibly urgent. Take a look at this number. What do you think that is? That is the estimated number of species, plants, insects, animals that go extinct every single day. More than 150 extinctions every 24 hours. That is a permanent, irreversible loss. A hole in the inheritance we leave behind that can never be filled.
Which brings this whole massive, kind of overwhelming issue right back down to us, to you, to me, because at the end of the day, the legacy we leave behind is really just the sum of all the choices we're all making every single day.
So what does it actually take to be a good steward? It really comes down to 3 key things. First up, we have to recognize that we don't own this place. We're just its custodians for a little while. Second, we've got to be honest about the trade-offs, the balance between what's easy for us right now and what we owe to the future. And third, and this might be the hardest one, we have to decide together what we truly value. What are the things we consider irreplaceable?
And here's the most crucial point of all. There's no single right answer here. This isn't a settled question. This tension between preserving value and preserving specific things, it's not a puzzle you solve once and you're done. It's an ongoing choice that every single generation has to make for itself. And right now, that choice is ours.
So in the end, it's like we're all sending something ahead in time. Sending packages to this unseen country called the future that we'll never get to visit ourselves. So the real question, the one I want to leave you with, is what are you going to send? What will be in your package?